back to the Harbinger Breakdown. I'm your host, Jeremiah.
I'm your co-host, Kelcey, and we have a
And
special
this is
guest.
Emmanuel.
So,
Alright, Emmanuel, tell us about yourself.
Alright, so I'm a freshman in high school.
yeah.
I was brought here and I was very excited, because I've never really been in a podcast, and I've spoken a lot about like being in a podcast before. So the fact that I'm able to, express a message or like especially about this topic, I feel like is really cool. And yeah, like I got here last year, 2025, and this school's awesome. Like I think it's very cool.
Right.
Our amazing teacher, Miss Castillo, and I'm blessed to have this opportunity.
Right. Do you have any hobbies?
I love playing guitar, man.
Guitar?
I love guitar. Like I feel like when it comes to playing music, I feel like when you really utilize your mind to like play music, bro, it's awesome. Cause like it allows you to learn more. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like if you can play guitar, you can use those traits, like those things that you learn from guitar, to piano. You feel me? And so, yeah, man.
So how long have you been playing the guitar?
I've been playing guitar for a year now. This July it'll turn into 2 years that I've been playing. Yeah, the hardest part about guitar, bro, to be honest with you, is just like it's really just getting your fingers right, because like there's chords that require you to do this and like just spread your fingers apart, and that's hard. Another hobby I like to do is just going to the gym. I like doing push-ups every day. You guys like working out?
I mean, I work out every now and then.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah. Because like especially now at this age, you feel me?
Yeah.
Wait, so what's like your dream build? You would say?
My dream build, nah. I was gonna say Sam Sulek, bro, but the thing with Sam Sulek is that like he's too big. Like he can't scratch his back or anything. I'd say like I don't really know, bro. Like David Layden.
So you want to be big, but like flexible?
Yeah,
at the same time?
Yeah.
I just want to be lean.
Like a athletic build.
Kind of, yeah. Like nothing extreme like that.
Yeah.
Like those guys that like hop on gear. I know that.
All right. So I think that was a good introduction to who you are as a person. But now let's dive into the topic of discussion today, which is finance for teens, students, high schoolers around the world.
Basically money.
Yeah,
Money
money.
making.
And everything of that nature.
You know, in society today, life is really about money. Everybody wants money, but we don't know how to get money, you would say. That's why we got a professional here, Emmanuel. You know.
Actually,
let's go. Actually,
finance strand over here.
thank you. Yeah, I've been wanting to learn more about money ever since like I came here. That's really the whole purpose I came. And so the fact that we're gonna talk about money making strategies, just ways to make money, ways to utilize your time to just like start a business, like that's the most important thing to learn now, especially as a high schooler.
Nice. Speaking of business, that brings us into our first talking point: ways to make money as a team.
Ways to make money as a team.
So, Emmanuel, big finance person over here. Do you think running a business or creating your own business is the best way to make money as a team?
I believe it is. Now, there's different things, When you think of a business, you have to think like, okay, what am I doing that's helping the community around me? Because you can make a business for yourself, right? Like day trading. Day trading is a good example. That's not necessarily a business, but it's kind of like you're selling financial instruments, right? So that's kind of your own thing. But a business that allows for others to come in as a community to buy a product that you made and that you're selling, now that's a good way to make business, because when you're starting a business, your first thought has to be, what is the demand? You know what I mean? Like what is the demand nowadays? Like for example, nowadays people like iPhones,
Yeah.
right? The new iPhone 17. Apple is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Why? Because phones are such a technologically advanced system that people want it. Even kids like as young as 5 years old, like, Mom, can I get a phone? And while it's kind of about like young kids asking for phones, that's good for the business. So running a business as a teenager, I feel like it's very beneficial. The only problem is there's a lot of things that you have to put on top of that with school, extracurriculars, and sports. So the biggest problem is the time and how you're gonna put your product out there. And essentially your net worth as well. You have to really be focused on like, hey, what is my goal and how can I take action in that goal? You feel me?
Yeah. So I feel like if you're a teen, like being an entrepreneur, having your own business, you need to be able to promote your business. Am I right?
100%, yeah.
So, do you feel like what's the best way to promote your business, like as a teen?
As a teenager, I feel like the best way right now is social media. We see that social media is a big tool for businesses. to just get your business out there, to get your ideas out there, and people watch these videos and they look at your mindset, they look at your ideology throughout this business, and are like, this could be something big. And not just customers, but also investors, people that are on social media that can invest in your business, allowing you to get good funding. That's also a very vital part of starting a business. You have to know, like the points that I made earlier, you got to know what you're doing, right? How you're going to push that out, and what do you seek to get out of pushing out that business? Like, do you seek to get people to invest in your business? Do you seek employees? Do you seek coworkers to help you out, build your dream? You know, because another thing with business is, like, I believe that a community and working together is also a big part of starting a business, right? So you have a family member that's also thinking about the same thing. Hey, Emmanuel, like, I'm thinking about doing this. Is there any way I can help, or like you could teach me? And I feel like that's super important as well in the business world.
All right, I have a question do you think, as a high schooler, you know, juggling extracurricular activities and schoolwork, do you think it's easier for a high schooler, to have their own business, or to, you know, work at a fast food restaurant, or like work for someone else? Which one do you think is easier?
To be completely honest, the second option is easier, right? That's why I said before, like, if you're gonna start a business as a high schooler, you need to be very strategic and surgical on how you're gonna make that happen. But if you want to make a quick buck and you want to provide for your family, working for a company is, in my opinion, the wisest thing to do. Starting now that, like, you're still in high school, you still have class, because, like, if you're starting a business, you're gonna have to put your time and effort in that. When you have classes, especially like kids taking, for example, dual enrollment. So you have college, you have high school, and you have a business. That's really hard, in my opinion. So, like, for example, Publix. Publix is an amazing way to start, right? Most kids can start at 14, 15. Landscaping, just helping out, babysitting, all these little jobs are amazing ways to make money. I feel like we're living in a society now where people think, like, oh, if you're 15, 16, you have to start a business. That's completely wrong, right? Well, it looks good, right? Like, oh, I'm making money at a young age. Like, the younger you are and the more money you make, that's really good. But I feel like we also need to take into consideration, like, hey, what is my status right now? Like, okay, yeah, I'm making money at 15, 14 years old, but it's like, what about the kid that, for example, says, like, let's say he doesn't have that much money, or that he doesn't have the resources other kids have, you feel me? He can, you know, work at a company, which, again, isn't bad either. It's an amazing way to start, and it's an amazing way to give you experience on what a job is.
So do you feel like it's more like a high risk, high reward type of thing, where if you start your own business, it's a higher risk, like you fail, but the reward, you know, the money you get would be way higher than working from a company? I
believe yes, because when you start your own business, it's not guaranteed you're gonna succeed in that business. Like, for example, I'm in entrepreneurship, as you guys mentioned, and we learn about that. We actually learn about like starting a business, especially small businesses. Like, they're not always guaranteed, like, to be successful. You may have a good idea, but that idea may not apply to everybody. You know, so that's why it has to be universal. But I feel like, yeah, there's a high risk, because you can put your time into that and you put your effort and money, but if it doesn't work out, like, you know, like, as your yeah. But again, like I mentioned earlier, if you're working for other people, right, that gives you experience, because at the end of the day, we're all gonna work a job somehow. If that's what you want, right? I know that I would like to work a job. If that means working for somebody for a period of time, I'm willing to do it, because money is money, you know, and it doesn't matter how you make it, like, obviously not through illegal activities, but, like, when you make money, I feel like the biggest thing isn't what type of job do I have, but the drive that I have. You know what I mean? When you have a drive, doesn't matter what job you're working, you will make money, right? Now, obviously, if you have a good drive, but you're working a job that doesn't pay much, that's gonna be harder, because you don't have that, like, your drive is not compared to the pay that you know you can get. And that's why I feel like it's also important to seek, like, hey, what am I good at? What am I good at, and what can I do? Because if you have a business, you can do what you're good at and make it, like, yourself, you know, as an entrepreneur. But if you're working for a company, you're gonna have to find a company that, hey, like, you know, is good with your values, so that you can work best at what they do. You know, like, for example, let's say you're a good salesman. You can work in the marketing area for, let's say, a high-end brand like Dior, right? Selling colognes. You know, you get paid for that. And my aunt actually does that, and she gets paid. Not as good, but like I said again, money's money. You're still making that money.
And for that reason, right, do you think, like, people should wait till adulthood to start trying to make money? And
No.
like, in their childhood, like, or teenage years, just worry about fun and stuff like that? Because a lot of people have that mindset.
Yeah, I feel like that mindset is very dangerous, and I'll elaborate why. Because I'm not saying, hey, by the time you enter high school, you gotta go like all this, you know, you gotta make all this money, you gotta hustle. Like, no. People have this twisted view it's called a hustle mindset, where it's like you have to make money by the time you're in high school. If you're not making this amount of money, you suck, this and that. But then there's also this other mentality, lazy mentality, like, hey, I'm not gonna start working till like in college. Like, it can't, again, like, not too little but not too much, you know. There has to be a balance. I believe that we're young, man. We're young, we have creative minds, we have a lot of energy. So when we utilize and when we use that youth that we have and that creativity that we have to the businesses that we want to make or to the companies that we want to work in, I just feel like it's such a big blessing and it's such a big opportunity. Because once we get older, you know, that's when our bodies start, you know, shutting down more. Maybe our creativity isn't as bright because, dude, as teenagers, people get so creative. Like, look at Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Yeah. His name, yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg, right? Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. The creator of Facebook.
Yeah.
He had an idea, and he allowed it to happen, and he's now multi-billionaire, right? So it's like, we as teenagers, we have ideas, but so many times we're like, nah, I'm too young to start it. Like, there's no such thing as too young. Like, too young to start an idea, too young to start a business. If you have the right mindset and you have the right tools, dude, you can do anything. And so I feel like you don't have to wait until adulthood. You can. It's not as if like there's gonna be a better outcome. Actually, yeah, there will. Like, if you start young, you'll have more experience and you'll have a bigger idea on the economical state of the world and the financial things that we hold as adults now that we get older. Taxes, income, ROI, return on investment, all that.
Yeah, any questions? You don't got no questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Alright.
I agree with everything this guy was saying. Very informative.
Summarize what he said.
Bro, next point.
Sorry.
Yo.
Below this guy.
So, let's say a kid makes it out, you know? He has a business.
Okay, make what? I'm sorry.
Like, he makes it out, you know?
Makes it out?
Yeah, like, he has a business.
Oh, alright, yeah, I got you.
It works out, you know? What advice will you give that kid for, like, how he could conserve and save his money and not spend it poorly?
Like, save money?
Yeah.
I think a good piece of advice is like, be wise with what you're using that money for. It's all about wisdom, man. Like, if you know what you're doing with your money and how you're spending it, I feel like that's the core. Because, like, let's say there's a kid starting a business and you see all this money coming in. Naturally, when you see all that money coming in, like, what's your first instinct? Like, dude, I want to buy everything. Now, another way you can use that money is not so much investing in your company, but you could also invest in other things like stocks. Invest your money in stocks, right? Investing your money, like, essentially what that is that you're putting your money through this market, right? And throughout the years, it increases as the market increases. So stocks is a good thing. And it's just like, when you put your money into things that you know will benefit it or can increase it in any way, because there's so many things you can do with your money that can increase it, right? I feel like that's the wisest thing someone should do, right? And especially continuing to put their money in a business so their business can grow, and ultimately, as their business grows, their income grows as well. So I feel like that's the most important thing, right? Again, you could spend your money, but like, that's when you know what you're doing, right? But when you don't know what you're doing, you're a teenager, you're still a kid, and you have these urges to buy all these things you want, it's not smart.
Since we're talking about investing, I know a lot of high schoolers that do want to like have jobs as a high schooler, but their parents are holding them back because of their education. So in your personal opinion, what do you think is better to invest in? Invest in yourself and your education, or invest in a business or an idea you have?
That's a beautiful question. I'd say a little bit of both, but I feel like it's super important to invest in yourself and in your education. Now, the reason I say that is because if you want to invest in a business and an idea, that's great. But at the end of the day, like, for me, I seek to go to college, right? I can make my business right here in high school, but I want to go to college because I want to have a stable income, right? Work a job or make my own job. Now, when you focus on education, at the end of the day, you're still a teenager, you're still growing, you're still learning, right? Wisdom grows through growth, through time. So if a kid is focusing on his education, right, and he's growing in intelligence, and not just academically, but like throughout his life, we see that the more he puts time in that, the more guaranteed he can have a stable career as he grows older. For example, let's say, because I seek to go, like, again, I seek to go to college, and a lot of people do. Why? Because you graduate high school, right? And when you graduate high school, you go to college. Let's say you get your master's, right? You have that base. And now many people may disagree with me and say, like, oh, you can just drop out of college. Like, again, Mark Zuckerberg, the guy I mentioned, he dropped out of college. He pursued his idea, and he's now a multi-billionaire, right? But I feel like it depends, and it's really much on preference on what you're going to do after high school. But me, in my personal opinion, I believe that kids and teenagers, especially teenagers, should focus on school, because school is very important. And that idea, right? The idea part should never go away. Even if you're focusing on school, never get rid of that business, never get rid of that idea that you have, because that idea will come in handy one day. And again, when starting a business, once you have that idea in mind and you know how you're gonna utilize your time to make that idea into an actual reality, after high school, dude, there you go, like, you're good, right? Because college is academically, it strengthens your intelligence, but this business and this idea, it tests everything in you, man. Like, how are you gonna ethically use your money, right? How are you gonna make this? How disciplined are you? You know, and I feel like that all contributes to starting a business. But I believe that school is still an important factor. It shouldn't be forgotten about.
So, to summarize what you said, always prioritize your education.
Yeah, 100%.
But still keep that idea for your business in mind, because you still want to motivate yourself to like achieve your business. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But if you fail all your classes, that's not gonna happen. You know?
I would also like to say, like, you can do both, but we need to have like this realistic mindset. Like, it's gonna be hard. Now, there's people that have a drive that they're like, dude, I can do both, which doesn't matter, which you can if you know what you're doing. But I feel like that's just very risky if you're juggling both a business and school, because let's say you're focusing on both. You do good in school, but you're doing bad in your business. Oh, your business is going, but your grades are going. You feel me? You need to add time. And it's all on time management. That's another really important thing that I want to emphasize is time. How are you using that time? You know that phrase, time is money? Time is literally money. Like, what are you using to that time to make the money? And what are you using with your time to just better your company at the end of the day, better a business, right? And I know I say company in like a big building, high brand, but like it could also be like reselling, right? You have like your own little reselling company business, that makes money. But again, like if you're juggling that with school, that's gonna be super hard, in my opinion.
Well, I'm done. Are you? You have any questions? Well, thank you guys for tuning into this podcast. You know, I'm so glad we had guest Emmanuel to enlighten us.
Great having you, man.
Thank you for having me.
Any final words you want to say?
If anyone watching this, that wants to start a business, like just be wise. Like don't go into something not knowing what you're gonna do, not know what you're doing, and not just in business, but in everything in life, right? When you know what you're doing and you go for it and you take risks, because it's good to take risks. You just gotta see it, and I hope you guys just enjoy this podcast. I'm just highly grateful for you guys having me.
So are we.
And I hope everyone has a beautiful day today.